Shalom. All praises to the Most High Yah and His wonderful Son Yahushua. Yah being God in Paleo-Hebrew and Yahushua being Christ in Paleo-Hebrew. This is the house of Saint Nicholas and the Nicholas family from the lineage of Sir Edward Nicholas. And this is the Stewart family, the scattered in the prophetic stewardship. The Stewart family, the scattered in the prophetic stewardship. The House of Stewart, once enthroned in Scotland and England, represented the heights of royal authority. Its kings and queens claimed the divine rights. The belief that their rule was ordained by Yahweh, yet history humbled the Stewarts. Thrones were lost, crowns were toppled, and their dynasty were scattered. Strikingly, the very same name Stewart found new life far from palaces among swarthy peoples in the Americas, the Caribbeans, and Europe, through slavery, migration, and colonial expansions. The surname became a mark not only of rulers, but of the displaced and oppressed. This paradox mirrored the deeper truth of Scripture. God often hides His purpose in the lowly and scattered. The name Stewart itself derives from steward, one who manages a household on behalf of a master. Here we see a divine irony. The stewards who once claimed kingship by bloodline were only shadows of the true calling. Stewardships under the kings of kings. Christ taught in Luke 12:42-44, "Who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he hath." This teaching reframes kingship, the faithful steward who serves the vigilance, humanity, and care will be exalted above all. The royal bloodline is not enough. The true test is faithfulness. Paul echoes this in 1 Corinthians 4:2. "Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful." The scattered stewards, though stripped of thrones and cast among nations, bear the very essence of this requirement. Their history of survival, their preservation of memory and identity, and their endurance against oppression demonstrate the spiritual stewardship of Yahweh esteem. The prophetic writings deepen this picture in Hosea 1. God speaks of scattering His people, yet promises to gather them in the place where it was said unto them, "Ye are not my people." There it shall be said unto them, "Ye are the sons of the living God." Likewise, Hosea 11 describes the Lord calling His sons out of Egypt, reminding us of deliverance and restoration after exile. The swarthy stewards scattered in the Americas and the islands bear the prophetic patterns once displaced. They stand as a remnant through whom Yahweh may display restoration. Thus, the steward's name takes on a dual legacy. On one hand, it is tied to royal palaces and political power. On the other hand, it is bound up with the struggles of scattered people, whose very survival testifies for divine faithfulness. In this, the stewards of the diaspora embody the prophetic stewardship Christ spoke of. They are stewards of memory, faith, and culture, awaiting the time when the master returned to set them over his household. The final irony is also the final blessing. The true steward is not simply a king, but a faithful steward in the end. The scattered, swarthy stewards of the Americas, Caribbean islands, and Europe may fulfill a prophetic destiny greater than the crowns of old, becoming living witnesses of restoration, chosen stewards in Yahweh unfolding kingdom. And this is the house of Saint Nicholas and the Nicholas family from the lineage of Sir Edward Nicholas, Secretary of State to King Charles I and King Charles II. I hope the Stewart family and the world was edified. Shalom.